Sunday evening, I normally try and do a few hours of emailing Sunday evening. So one evening I opened my box, the mail from him, and he said, "You don't have to quit advertising." So he didn't lose a sense of humor. So I said, "You don't have to quit advertising, but I think you have to make some changes in the film." But believe me, this is a revised film. This is a film after the changes. And if I showed you the film which we gave him to show to his wife, it's exactly the same. You can't make out what big changes we made. But the fact is, I think he felt if the agency is willing to stick its neck out and go out on a limb, let me give it a fair chance. Okay, let's get feedback from a different set of people. And normally you have the story of the client's wife didn't like the ad, right? This is the story of the client's wife loved the ad, and the ad ran. But more important, I think it brings to light that you got to have a great level of trust and regard for each other. The client, you have to have the trust and regard for the client, and the client has to have the trust and regard for you. I mean, he could have easily sent a mail saying my wife hated the ad. Ambi, bye bye. He could have done that, no? He didn't do that. Because I trusted him not to do that. I trusted him to actually get genuine feedback. Which is what he did. And he said, you don't have to quit advertising. So that was good. So again, are we sticking our neck out enough? And I think there is an interesting, I think Mr. Damodaran, when he was speaking to the IIT audience, I think last year, made an interesting comment. He said, disagree, don't be disagreeable. And I think there's a huge difference in the semantics we're talking about. You can disagree with the client, but don't be disagreeable, which is, we agree to disagree. Right? So you have a very healthy argument. At the end, you may say, sorry, okay, we don't agree, but yes, we are still friends, we'll do it. So we have to move into that mode if we have to live the value addition paradigm. Okay, so let's move to the next story, which is for a client called Naukri, and this is the first ad we did for them. So I'll play the ad and I'll tell you the story. Really risky advertising. Okay. If your TV was running, you've gone to the kitchen, you won't know what ad it is because there's no word mentioned, there's no audio at all, and there's some music playing. Right? And if you miss the last 5 seconds of the ad, you miss the brand name. Right? So when we wrote that script, our Delhi office, Sanjay Sharma, wrote that script. They presented it to Sanjeev Bichchandani. And our team there felt this was very, very risky advertising. Here is a guy, first generation entrepreneur, who had got whatever $5 or $10 million funding. Okay, we're going to recommend that he put in $1 million on his advertising. Now this is risky stuff. So we knew it was risky stuff. So this was presented to him, and Arvind Wable, my colleague in Delhi, told Sanjeev, look, Sanjeev, this is, we believe is an excellent idea, but it is risky. Right? It is pretty risky advertising. Okay. So if you are uncomfortable with it, we will rework. Okay. But we think this is great because it's based on a very clear insight that people don't quit jobs, people quit their bosses. Okay. And if someone has found a job, then he's able to give it back to his nasty boss. Right? So it's based on that insight, and that will appeal to the new generation, educated, aspirational youth, and we will be able to work. However, this is not for the faint-hearted. And as luck would have it, the client said, yes, I think we should go ahead and do this. Because I am an entrepreneur. I've stuck my neck out running my business. So I want to take risks. And this is a good risk to take. Let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, fine. You guys will give me something better. and then rest is history, right? I mean, we've done 8 or 9 ads. The company went public 5 years ago. We made our client very, very rich. We didn't take too much. I mean, we're not Albert Lasker. We didn't take too much equity in the business. I think we got a little bit, but client became very rich. And today, a lot of .com companies, we work with Jabong, we work with Make My Trip, all that based on this, on what we did for Naukri, which is probably one of the biggest successes. And it's not burning cash, right? It's very different from many of the online companies are burning cash. It is profitable. They are making profit. They have a balance sheet. It's a listed company. So, so you need to recommend stuff which is breakthrough. So you cannot play safe with your recommendations. And the 6th lesson is really something which many agencies don't do a great job, which is they allow the client-agency relationship to operate at only one level. Now, if you operate at a one-level relationship, you're always going to be on tenterhook. So you need to build strong relationships across different levels in the organization. And I'll show you an ad, and I'll tell you how. So, we've been working with Z now for 8 years, and it's based on the fact that at different levels of the organization, we take feedback and give feedback. Right? I mean, it's often that at least once every 2 months, the CEO and I meet out of office just to talk. Right? And the team is a great team. The team is there in and out every day. Okay? But at different levels, we are engaged. Right? At the account director level, they're engaged with people there. At the CMO level, our vice president is involved. At the CEO level, I'm involved. So, if we can, on all our key clients, provide multiple level bridges, right? For a client to give feedback, take feedback. For us to give feedback, take feedback. It happens both ways, right? Client can give feedback, you can give feedback, saying you're changing your strategy too much, or my team is finding it difficult. This helps us to build the relationship. And if you do all that, I think you can then live your promise. You can define what your agency stands for, and you can live that promise every day. Okay? And then you can truly be a strategic partner to your clients. And we in Ulka, we try and we define our own role as making brands famous, making clients rich. That's what we're there. We create brand wealth for our clients. So we celebrated our 50 years last year, and we made a AV, which is about 6-7 minutes. So let me play that. Hopefully audio will be okay. Otherwise we'll have to boost the audio a bit. To end with a quote from Professor of Creativity at Harvard Business School, I think our value to clients will be in exact proportion to our ability to take information, to take knowledge, and through a series of creative acts, processes, transmute knowledge into unique, audible goods, services, and systems. In our case, advertising. So that's what we need to do, which is to harness knowledge and try and add value to our client business. So thank you for your patient listening, and I hope you learned something on this very important day, Rajnikant's 62nd birthday. Thank you very much. Yeah. So if you have any questions, I'm told we still have. We have 5-10 minutes to. We have 5-10 minutes to handle questions. So.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
When I was hearing your biodata, it was very interesting that you are from IIT and IIM. And I just wanted to know, at that age, what made you come in advertising?
Ask Jack. He wants to answer the question.
You were fit for nothing else, I suppose.
No, I don't think.
Area नहीं है.
Yeah, that's actually the simple answer. That we actually, you know, we actually thought we got scared of engineering. We got scared of, and I got scared of chemical engineering, thermodynamics, and all that. So I jumped out and I went to IIM Calcutta. And those days, those are the days before McKinsey and all that stuff. So after IIM, I did my summer project with 3D Fusion. I liked what I saw, and then I joined advertising. Yes, I think if I joined somewhere else, I would have made, I started on a salary of 1400 rupees. If I joined someone else, I would have got 1800 rupees. So it was not a big step down. So I took the job, and so I don't know. I think it's individual choices. It's really, at that time, a lot of us joined advertising. A lot of us,
In fact, Ambi, I don't know, Bal Gulkur, who founded this agency, I worked with him. In fact, he used to say that he was in merchant navy, he was in that,
Yeah.
and then finally joined advertising because he got himself unfit in every other field.
From Unilever, he was head of market research for Hindustan Lever. Then he came and ran the agency. So I think those days we keep lamenting that the IIT IIM types are no longer coming into advertising, but there are still a lot of people. I'm IIT IIM, Jagannath IIT IIM, Shashi Sinha is IIT IIM. So there are quite a few of us who are very much there. So
Actually, my reason for asking you question was our organization, that's SAT Bureau, and I'm a chartered accountant. How advertisement companies work. And I should tell you that I really experienced something very nice, very innovative, and it was really good.
thank you for coming. Okay, thank you. You work for which company, ma'am?
This is Ad Bureau.
Okay.
Ad Bureau Limited, and basically I'm a chartered accountant, but still they told me, no, you please go and see how it's going to be good.
Thank you for coming.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah, no more questions on my CV.
Having the market research background. So I'm having a 68-year-old partner with me actually. I'm a market research consultant. So you mentioned much things regarding market research, how much it is important so far. So I had done several projects for FCD also regarding automotive project for Tata. And I had done several FGDs also, and quantitative research also. So in your point of view, currently ad agencies, how much they are, much they are following market research, they are incorporating market research in their strategies.
Well, I think it's difficult for me to answer that. A lot of us do research, okay. A lot of us build research as a part of our planning process. A lot of times you do your own research, the client may have done his research, but you say no, I want to do my own research, okay. So I think most large agencies have a pretty strong strategic planning team. The strategic planning team is to do its own independent research. It may be 2 groups, okay, it may be talking to 10 consumers. But if a smart, intelligent account executive or account planner talks to 10 consumers, that's worth a hell of a lot. Or he comes and attends 2 groups, it's worth a hell of a lot. I remember attending a group, which was in Beverage. I attended a group in Calcutta a couple of years ago. And we were doing a group on some beverages, malted beverages. And there were women there, we were talking about whether we could launch a brand for some client aimed at older men, right? And suddenly, one of the women talking, and then suddenly I realized that there are households where the household's dietary habits change because the head of the household has a problem. So she said, my husband is diabetic, so we use very little sugar in our house. We are Bengali, but still we use very little sugar. So I said, shit, it's an interesting insight, right? So I think agencies should do more, if you ask me, should do more. In fact, I don't know if you've been following Brand Equity did a story on pre-testing of ads, right? And then I was quoted in that, and then a week later, I think Rama Vijapukar wrote a very nice follow-up piece to the article, right? So we need to be careful that research doesn't become cookie cutter. The danger is it becomes a cookie cutter, and therefore it is used as an excuse to say yes or no. We need to rise above that and understand how we can incorporate research into our planning, and therefore use it more intelligently and not as consumer like this ad, consumer like this ad. meaningless, right? Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My name is Venkatesan, I'm a filmmaker from Chennai. Of late, there has been a tendency by various brands in which they want to get into niche clubs and other things like super brand listings and other things, whether they have a regional listing or even a national listing. Do you feel that getting into exclusive clubs like a super brand listing will make a big difference for the brands?
Well, there are, I think, 3 or 4 such, there is product of the year, okay, then there is, super brands. See, if you're in a competitive space and if it's going to help you in some form, it doesn't, it makes perfect sense to pay some money. I mean, all these are available. So you
Will
pay
it make a difference to the brands actually? Does these listings make a difference to the brand or the value addition they give to the consumers?
In my opinion, it's a question mark. I don't think there is hardcore data to say whether it helps or hardcore data to say it doesn't help. So I'll give you a lousy answer, which is it depends.
Offer this, sir?
Pardon?
Does your agency also offer this?
We don't. We in fact advise our clients to think twice before doing it. But look, if it's a commodity category, it helps you to put it on your steel pipes, go ahead, it doesn't cost too much. So go ahead and do it, but I have my doubts.
See, today,
We'll make this the last question.
yeah, the mid-sized agencies, operate out of a sense of insecurity. So I'm saying all those principles, what you're talking about, stick your neck out, don't look for short-term gains and all that. Is it really possible to practice such things if you're a mid-sized agency?
Let me put your doubts to rest. The insecurity feeling and the size of the agency are directly correlated. The bigger agencies actually feel more insecure than mid-sized agencies. So it's up to you. If you can be the head of India's largest agency but still feel very insecure, right? Because you have 1,500 people salary to pay, right? It's a feeling, it's a huge sense of insecurity. But at the same time you say, no, I'm a large agency, I'll therefore stick my neck out, right? So I don't think just because, some of the most gutsy people are in small agencies. And a lot of people believe that as you become bigger, you become more insecure. So you're asking the opposite question, right? Saying, no, I think as you become bigger, you have more worries to keep you awake. When you're smaller, I think you can be more, more confident in what you say. So I don't fully agree with what you said. I'm not saying I don't think you can hire 3 account executives and put them into the field to do market research. No, you can't. But you can do some of this. Maybe not all. Okay. Yeah. One last question. Yeah.
This is working? Yeah. Now, at one level, there are a lot of things which agencies can do to really improve this client-agency relationship. But there is one thought which I have.